So ever since June 9th, 2019, since I call my awakening the night of Om, it was in a deep meditation, deep trance that I've never done anything like that before. And, I've taken into meditations and reading books, that steered me towards that way. And so I just read whatever calls out to me. And one of them is called Laya Yoga, which is waking the Kundalini and the chakras, the forces of it. And what I experienced, I put with what I'm reading because some things do make sense. And I might not say the word correctly because it's out of my element in a sense. It's just, it's something new. I never used to believe in anything until after that night. I knew there was some other forces that were higher above. Just everything that happened to me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I learned about Kundalini in a sense through the Lay Yoga in the book. And maybe a few other little things here and there, so I might just go off the path that I feel kind of is a connection for me as well. But yeah, waking up, it's just it's a big change, it's a big shift. That inner thinking, the inner focus, you think so much more positive. And if you do get upset, it just, your body tells you, hey, this is not the right thing to do. Look where it got you before. So, I'm learning. I'm learning at the age of 52. So just bear with me a little bit. So this Kundalini, it really didn't really sink in. I've read a little bit about Kundalini before, but it wasn't, it just, the Laya Yoga hit a little deeper, or should I say a lot deeper. The depth of it kind of sunk into my body and my bones and everything. And as a light bulb went off, reading it after, most of the book, and finally it kind of hit me a little bit. But, they talk about the rousing of the Kundalini, which is this coiled serpent energy at the base of your coccyx, your root, the Muladhara. It's something that they say we all have in us, and it's like the forces. What I felt, it was like, and it's feminine energy at the bottom is what they say, and I think I spoke about that, about having this such a feminine energy force, and I didn't know anything about it. It was just a feeling that I had. Your body knows. Pretty much goes into autopilot. It almost like starts it up. So I know I had said that I was felt like as I was rising up to the sky, I felt like I could see myself down there, my feet and everything, and it just kind of reminded me of how they talked about a seed mantra, and it didn't really hit me like I said right away. It just really didn't register it, but that's what it felt like. It felt like this Om sound, where I heard it in my ears at first, and then I started hearing it in my gut, and it was like this vibration and everything, and the point, and with the spiral and everything. It was like, almost like it was creating this seed in a sense in my stomach, in my belly, my solar area, my root, all that lower section is where I felt it first. And they talk about, they do these meditations to rise the Kundalini, the energy, the feminine energy, Shakti energy is what they call it, or they call it other things as well. But this what stuck with me was just Shakti energy, and they talk about all these different sounds, seed mantras that you could do in meditations, and eventually you can possibly feel it, and that's what it was. It was like I felt it. I felt this. It was like a tingling sensation down in my coccyx, like in my tailbone. It was like it was like this shocking feeling, like electricity that was starting up and it was waking up. And that's what I say is like I felt like I was in hibernation for so long, before I said this, before even understanding about rousing the Kundalini, and how they say that you start waking it up and it starts to move around. And that's what it felt like. It felt like my molecules, my cells, my atoms, all those things were just like starting to bubble, in a sense, like boil. It was like it's like when you hear a hot rod start up and the idling of it. It was that feeling of it, that initial feeling of that bubba 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 bubba, and I was like, what's happening? I was awake inside my mind. I can feel it, and it just felt really, really weird. It felt really different. Never felt that before. Like I said, though, I never meditated before. But anyways, it was like they talk about this Kundalini, this energy, just lightning bolts, shooting, from the base of your root up to your crown, your Sahasrara, and it felt like that. It felt like it was going up and down and up and down, and they talk about how they do these chin locks and anal locks, and it didn't register. Like I said, it didn't register to me, but I remember before I had said that it was like I was just like tightening up, and I just kind of put that together as the chin lock and anal lock. It was like I didn't want it to leave my body because I felt like I wouldn't be around anymore. So it was like I was just trying to hold it in, and it was like bouncing around in there. It was like a kind of like a feeling of seeing a pinball machine or a yo-yo, in a sense, and it was up and down in waves, and just waves all the way from my feet up to my head. And I remember I was tightening, clenching my fists, everything that I can clench, I was clenching. I was like in a locking position. And they talk about where she breaks through the feminine energy, breaks through these knots of your chakras, going from your root to your sacrum, the sacral, and that being the Swadhisthana, and breaking up through your solar plexus as well, which is, they call that Manipura. They call it a few different things, so that's what I'm saying is it kind of gets confusing. And then they say it breaks through your heart chakra, which is the Anahata, and into your throat, which is your main connection, they say, in a sense, from your lower world to your upper worlds. And that is the I think it's called the Vishuddha. Yeah, so there's a connection from there to your brow chakra, which is your third eye, and it's the ajna. And then up above that is your crown. But in Laya Yoga, they say, you have a few other ones in between, which is the Hrit chakra, which is in the heart area. They say there's, I think, a few other ones. It's a total of 13 instead of 7. But they also say, I think it's called the Telu, which is, I think, around here, I think. somewhere in there in the head area. And they have, I want to say it's the Nishwarga chakra, which they say that is, in a sense, the bridge from a few other chakras that are within your energy field, up above you. And they talk about the Guru chakra and the Sahasrara, and yeah, they talk about this bridge connection, and it's where it feels like I went beyond that bridge. And then they talk about her uniting with Shiva, the supreme consciousness, the awakening in a sense, which is the positive energy. And they say, the moon is the negative, which is yin, and then yang, which is the sun. So it's like the sun and the moon uniting, in a sense, and merging as one and fusing as one. But and these are all through ancient texts and stuff, through that's through the Hinduism. But I know there's many other ways that it's been told. But they talk about around the world, global, like this snake, and all it's this energy, this snake energy in a sense. But it felt like that. It felt like it was just moving in my body, that second night, and I was just doing whatever I could to contain it within. It's just what my body knew. It went on to flight or fight mode, in a sense. But yeah, it was just really weird how when something happens to you and you read in some of these old ancient texts about certain things that really register, of what I feel like they've been trying to tell us. There's awakenings, there's a higher power. It just kind of takes me to the body, the human body, in a sense, where in our spine we have 33 bones, and from the cervical you have 7 of them, the thoracic you have 12, the lumbar you have 5, and then so that's 24 right there. But then you have 2 of the lower sections that are fused, which 5 are fused in the sacral area, and in the coccyx there's 4, so there's 9 that are fused all together, in a sense, individually between the sacral and the coccyx. But that tailbone, that's the big thing for me. That's where I felt it all, was in that I don't know, it was a shocking, major shocking feeling. And it's really amazing how the human body's put together when you start looking at it, with all the blood vessels, the arteries, the veins, the muscles, the tendons. Everything works in unison. It's like a symphony in a sense. And it's what I felt. I felt this music, like a pulling of strings from up above. And it was like, how they say the back muscles, how they stretch you back to lift up your spine so you can be erect and walk. Everything, the bones, and the way we're notched out and honed out just for certain tubes, or what other organs, such as your heart. And there's a place for your heart where your lung is cut out, is shaped in a different form than your other one, just to fit it. So it's like we are just like designed perfectly. And like my mind is just like I'd never noticed any of that, just because I was so angry all the time. I was blinded in a sense. And it was just like, I know I'm talking about a few different things because I just have a few different things on my mind that are connected for me. But how they talk about, we have electromagnetic waves within us, and the earth being geomagnetic, And they say the spheres from up above sing this tune, this beautiful music up there. As Kepler says, Pythagoras, all these ancient people, in a sense, through time, some aren't as old, but it's just through time they speak of the planets and the stars and the sun and the moon and how we're connected. And I feel like I got away from that just being in this time here of the 21st century. We have all these houses, and we go to work. We wake up, go to work, eat in between, and come home and shower and eat and go to sleep and do the same thing over and over again. And that's what I got used to. I got used to that. I didn't make time for meditating, learning about myself, the inner self. Not learning about what is right, taking advantage of things and just keep going and going. I got further and further away from who I really am, in a sense. And I feel like, damaged me through this lifetime. But it is what it is. We all go through this for a reason, to learn what is the light, what is love, and everything, unconditionally. But it's just, there's a lot of things that I feel like are connected to us. The earth and the planets and everything up above. I think we've just been designed very well, and I think everything in this 21st century has kind of got us farther away from peace within. There's not just Mother Nature right there wherever you look. You have to go a little ways away just to get into nature, or in your mind you can do that, through meditations and stuff. You can go anywhere you want through meditations. But it's that peace, that inner peace is the big thing. You have to have that inner peace in order to hear with your feeling of your heart and your soul. It's a deeper feeling, it's a deeper hearing, a deeper knowing. It's your higher self. They talk about the physical, the astral, and the causal, within your spine. They don't necessarily say spine, but the chakras. And it's like, there's, in the human body, the spine, it's encased, it's protected by these sleeves, in a sense. You have the dura mater, which is the outermost. You have the arachnoid matter, which is the intermediate. And then you have the pia matter, which is the innermost. And, those, to me, like, make sense on the physical, astral, and causal. It's like you have to penetrate some of those, and with being able to penetrate, to see beyond that, you need to be able to have a clear mind and not have so much, garbage within. We have this inner filtering system that we have to learn how to just let things go and forgive, so we can see our higher version of ourselves. But, that's where it's kind of what I've kind of seen the shift for me is me having that knowing now of there is a higher version of myself, and it was all due to this deep mantra sound of Om, and hearing that vibration in my body, and knowing that, whoa, what is this? And it just felt so comfortable. It felt felt like when I was out of my body, that, and up in, to me, I call it the void, because it was just, there was nothing. It was just myself, and I felt like something else was there around me, but it was just so peaceful. I got to hear that peace, and I never had that. I was trying to think of the peace I ever had within myself, and I took myself back to childhood, to it, when I grew up, it was about being at the beach, flying a kite. It was like when I got to be myself the most. Was flying a kite with my family and stuff. It was I don't know. It was kind of like I lost myself in a sense there. It was so soothing and relaxing, compared to how I didn't like my life and how it was going even then when I was a kid. So it's like trying to find that inner peace, and after that own meditation and everything that's been going through this year and a half, I finally found that inner peace again, and it just brought me back to that time. It was the last time I felt like I had somewhat of total inner peace, and it's like you got to find when the last time you were totally at peace with yourself. And to me, when you're not yourself and you're somebody who you're not, that gets you further away from yourself, your true self. And then get you away from your higher self, which is, to me, is your soul and the connection to the spirit, because there's something way above us, that's unexplainable, and that's what I've come to learn for me, is that I know there's so much more out there, and it's through a lot of different ways. It's it could be through spirituality, it's through whatever, mathematics, it's through a lot of things, it's through everything. You just need to look and figure out what signs you have missed along the ways. Which brings me back to, for me, like, I had a lot of signs, but one that kind of really stuck with me in a sense is that, there was a lot of them that stuck with me, but I think about just recently, I was reading about how some of the religions, they fast and everything, and they don't eat for a long time. And so I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to try a little bit, just maybe, whatever I want, whatever I feel comfortable with. So, I was drinking water, and I'd had a couple cups of coffee in the morning, but I just decided, hey, I'm going to just not eat for a little bit. So, it was only like 22 hours. But that evening when I was getting hungry, I just meditated and breathed and imagined myself eating a meal, and, that air being my food and going down, and it felt fine. I went to bed, I got up the next morning, didn't eat till whatever it was, the afternoon, 2 o'clock. But it just kind of brought back memories of, there's things that we do for reasons throughout our lifetime, and it just brought me back to wrestling in high school. I wrestled the same weight 2 years straight, and but the second year was really hard because I had to starve myself 7 days, before a match and stuff, to keep my weight. So it was like, it just brought back a lot of memories about just not eating. I thought about humanity in a sense. I think that lesson was for me to learn that there's people starving out there and don't have water, and wasting of food here, the food that I waste in a sense, and it just makes you appreciate that, because there's a lot of people that don't eat out there. So, and I eat just to eat sometimes. It's just human. Just who I am. So it makes me more cautious and think about that stuff, about the people starving in this world, and here I am eating just to eat, and the food that I waste, if I throw away, it's like, that could go to somebody. It's like that. It's kind of like that. Just brought that up, and brought up about peace outside of me. All these walls that we learn to build and divide people. It's like that's how we learn. It's like we look outside of us and we see these walls, and we build these walls within us. And I had a lot of walls that I had built up throughout time, but I just kind of have been just doing some soul searching, spiritual journey about life in a sense. This is where it's led me to know what really makes me tick. Who am I really? I just wasn't me for a long time, and I gotta pretty much knock over the head with a 2x4. That's what I feel like. It was like a big bell. It just woke me up. It said, "Hey, this is not how you're supposed to live." So yeah, it's just it's been a good journey for me, and I just it's so nice to have peace within. To know what that feels like is just, I feel like that higher version, is just loving and caring. You can tell by the details of our body. We're so detailed and designed. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I think just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, and just my journey on waking up to something bigger and better and more meaningful in life, not just feeling like Groundhog Day and getting bored and doing the same things. There's things I need to improve on, of course. I know that. I'll always need to improve. But it constantly takes work. That's it. And, with me saying, I used to get so stuck in work where, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. You have to make time for yourself, to know yourself, to learn about yourself, and who you really are and what you really want in life. And just take it easy. Learn, take some, it's like meditating inside and finding that peacefulness and seeing your higher version of yourself. And that leads you to better things. Leads you to truth, to honesty, to know yourself. It's about truth. That's what it's about. Truth, love, care. Yeah, so I think that's all I need to talk about today. Might kind of talk a little more about this later on, and the human body in a sense of, got that filtering system in us. We just need to learn how to let things go. I think, these ancients were very wise back then, just because they didn't have electricity and everything else. They knew a lot of stuff. They knew a lot. They knew, I think, as a whole, I feel like the spirituality part is where we need to bond together in a sense. And, take care of humanity, take care of other people that we don't know. And, it's not just us, it's every other country that's in war all the time. It's like That's what it felt like inside of me. It felt like I was at war with myself, and I could see, you know, the outside version as well. But yeah, peace within, that's the big thing. So that's it. Thank you.